This scam hijacked phone numbers to break into bank accounts and empty them within hours. Across the US, UK, Europe, and parts of Asia, victims suddenly lost mobile signal without warning. Their number had been transferred to a SIM card controlled by the scammer. With control of the number, password resets and security codes were redirected instantly. Bank accounts, crypto wallets, and email accounts were accessed and drained. In reported cases, individuals lost thousands to millions within a single day. The breach did not start with hacking the bank. It started with the phone number. Investigations later linked these attacks to coordinated groups targeting high-value accounts. What made this scam effective was control. Once the number was taken, everything connected to it followed. By the late 2010s and into the early 2020s, mobile numbers became central to identity verification across the US, UK, Europe, and parts of Asia. Banks, email providers, and financial platforms relied on SMS-based two-factor authentication. This meant a phone number was no longer just a contact detail. It was a security key. At the same time, telecom providers allowed SIM replacement through customer service processes. In several reported cases across the US and Europe, identity checks for SIM swaps were limited or inconsistent. Personal data from breaches was increasingly available for verification bypass. High-value individuals, including crypto holders and business owners, became primary targets. The reliance on phone numbers for account recovery created a single point of failure. This environment allowed number control to become a direct path to financial access. The scam often began with targeted data collection on the victim. Personal details were gathered from breaches, social media, or phishing attempts. Scammers then contacted the telecom provider, posing as the account holder. In multiple cases across the US and UK, they requested a SIM replacement or number transfer. Verification steps were bypassed using stolen or guessed information. Once approved, the victim's number was reassigned to a SIM controlled by the attacker. The victim's phone lost signal, often without immediate explanation. At that moment, control of the number shifted completely to the attacker. With the number under control, the scam moved into rapid account access. Password reset requests were triggered across banking, email, and financial platforms. One-time codes sent via SMS were received directly by the attacker. Email accounts were often accessed first to control notifications and recovery options. From there, banking and crypto accounts were unlocked and accessed. Funds were transferred, withdrawn, or converted into hard-to-trace assets. In several cases, security alerts were disabled to delay detection. The entire process could be completed within hours of the SIM swap. The system relied on the phone number acting as the primary authentication layer. As the method proved effective, the scam expanded across regions and targets. High-value individuals became primary targets due to larger potential payouts. In reports from the US, UK, and parts of Europe, attacks were timed during weekends or late hours. Groups coordinated efforts between data collection, telecom manipulation, and fund extraction. Multiple SIM swaps were executed in sequence to maximize returns. Online communities and forums were used to share tactics and target profiles. Some operations scaled to handle dozens of victims simultaneously. What appeared as isolated incidents was often part of organized multi-step networks. Certain signals began to appear before and during SIM swap incidents. Sudden loss of mobile network or no service without explanation was a primary indicator. Password reset notifications were triggered across multiple accounts simultaneously. Email alerts showed login attempts or changes to account details. In some cases, victims received messages about SIM replacement they did not request. Accounts became inaccessible within a short time frame. Telecom providers later confirmed unauthorized SIM transfer requests. Security experts identified repeated patterns tied to identity-based verification failures. The issue was that these signs often appeared only after control had already shifted. As losses mounted, telecom providers and law enforcement began coordinating investigations. Agencies, including the FBI, Europol, and UK authorities, tracked organized groups behind SIM swap attacks. Investigators identified links between data brokers, phishing campaigns, and telecom manipulation. In several cases, groups operating from the US and Europe were arrested for targeting high-value accounts. Telecom employees were sometimes involved, assisting with unauthorized SIM transfers. Funds were traced through crypto wallets, exchanges, and layered transactions. Joint operations disrupted networks responsible for multiple coordinated attacks. Platforms introduced stronger authentication beyond SMS-based verification. Estimated losses reached hundreds of millions across affected regions. The investigation confirmed a system built on identity takeover, access control, and rapid financial extraction. This scam showed how a single point of control can unlock entire financial systems. The phone number became a gateway rather than just a communication tool. What failed was the reliance on SMS as a primary security layer. Once control shifted, every linked account became vulnerable at the same time. Even secure platforms were exposed when recovery systems depended on the same number. The scam did not break systems, it used them as designed. Experts now emphasize multi-layer authentication that does not rely on a single device. The broader lesson is clear. When identity is centralized, risk becomes concentrated.